Let me out. Let me out. Why is there no button for this door? Why won't you let me out of here? Well, since we're stuck here, welcome to another episode of SuchArt, in which we're painting viewer suggestions from you guys, the viewers, making suggestions in the comments. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a violent one, so if you got a weak stomach and don't like animated violence, it's not even animated, it doesn't move. But if you don't like seeing violence and sharp things, it might not be the video for you. Or maybe you just don't want to admit it. The suggestion that we're using for today's video comes from Derek and says, do Kermit the Frog holding a bloody kitchen knife. And this one immediately gave me ideas. Derek and I had a little bit of back and forth, and in a follow-up comment he said, is it too late to request that he is stabbing Grover? Laugh out loud. And you know what? It's not too late, Derek. I got you. Let's get going on this. So for this one, we're gonna go with this size canvas here, a 1 by 1.3. We'll turn it to the side here. And I have an idea for composition in my head, and I kind of sketched it out here in Photoshop, so I have an idea of where I want the elements to go, but I haven't practiced any details, so we'll see how this goes. First off though, I do want to get a background down, and we're gonna go with probably blacks, dark blues, things like that. We'll see how well it works. Okay, that's not much for a background, but I do want to, we're really not going to have like, oops, I didn't want that. Can I sell that? I never sell things. Sell? Hey, I get 1 cent back. Sweet. Anyways, what we're doing for a background here, I mean, I'm not going to have any details in the background, but one thing I do kind of want is I want kind of a hanging light. So let's see how this would go. Okay. Let's see if we can maybe use a little bit of black to just kind of accentuate this darkness here a little bit. Hoping it'll maybe make it look like there's a little bit more action in the background. Or, you know, it's a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more movement if we add some of this here. That's not too bad. Now for the light bulb, I guess I didn't even really think about how to do this. But I think we'll do a little chain hanging down and the light bulb hanging from that. Where's my water bucket? Come prepared, Kaz, come on. Don't stop spelling. There we go. I'm gonna kind of blur it into the background a little bit as well. Because, again, not a focal point. Just background noise. But it also gives us a light source that we can use to, you know, make highlights and shadows on our characters. It's not too bad. Now I think we just add a little bit of this to it. That's not too bad. Kind of indicates the shine, or the light of the light. I'm just gonna stop talking now. Now for the next stage of the painting, we're gonna do the outline of our characters. This part is very essential because any mistakes will lead to mistakes. I don't know, man, but I know that we're gonna do Grover's head down here. So let's see about how big I want it here. I think that's a good size. Kind of goofed up a little bit there. That's okay. And just cover it up with some black spray paint. There. Doing lots of perspective on this drawing, it looks like. We're getting there. I think you're seeing the composition come to life right in front of your eyes. This is a prime example of a piece that would be much easier on a smaller canvas because I could actually like step back and see the whole thing. But there we go. I think that's pretty good. I didn't really account for Grova's legs here. That might be an issue. We'll probably just do something and fade it kind of into black into the background. I think that's what we'll do. But I gotta say, overall, I think this is gonna work. So we'll start with coloring Grover here. Let's get some of his... I don't think I need these anymore. Yeah, let's wash those off. I'm gonna need the room, I think. I think we're gonna start with this medium blue first. Then we'll worry about adding highlights and shadows afterwards. Gonna do an extra good job at his hand here, clenched out in pain, as Kermit repeatedly plunges the kitchen knife into his torso. This is dark, man. I don't know. Might be too dark for the channel. What do you guys think? Knowing some of you, it's not dark enough. I think I might have gone a little bit too saturated with the colors. I mean... yeah, the Muppets are obviously very saturated, but with the background kind of dark and dingy, maybe a little bit less saturated. But here we are. We're gonna make do with what we have, and I don't want to go over all this again because this part can be really time-consuming. You know what I mean? Before I color the rest of the hand, I want to get this down because I don't want to lose this line when I color it all blue. So we're gonna add our first little bit of shadow right now. Dry it off, take a look-see. Now the exciting part of adding shadows. Figured once we get a decent amount of shadows on, then we'll add some of Grover's texture, because you know, he's a little furry boy. Still don't know exactly how we're gonna do that, to be honest, but figure something out. Might actually use that big old leaf to do it. But that does mean that we'll have to tape everything off. I think these shadows are actually working out quite nice. So this is kind of the texture I wanted with the shadows, you know, just kind of smudges with them. It's working out well. It's working out well. I think this is going to act as like the shadow of his nose, since the light's coming from, I guess it's coming from there, so it should be straight down. Oh well, I thought it was coming from more of an angle like that way, but I guess I positioned the light like directly above his face like this. You'll still get the idea. I hope. I hope. We say that a lot in every single painting, because I always hope that it turns out good. Lately, I think we've been killing it, dude. I think a lot of the paintings lately have been like really top notch. And that's not just thanks to me, that's thanks to all of your wonderful suggestions. Which brings up a point. If you want to see your suggestion painted in a future video, just leave a comment down below. Might be a bit before we get to it, but I do read each and every one and try to get through as many as possible. All right, it's pretty good for the shadows. I think once we add some of these highlights, it'll really start to bring it to life. We'll see though, let's hope. I don't know. Bring it to life. I mean, you know, for a Muppet. Now, because I've had a few people ask, I feel like I gotta point out, I do all of this in SuchArt, except for one video. I do all of it with mouse and keyboard. I mean, sometimes you might hear my keyboard clicking, but yeah, all this right here, this is all mouse action, man. And saving action. It definitely took a little bit to get used to, though. I mean, we're no master, but we got some hours, man. Although I will say, I have a lot less practice with this blender, and I usually don't use it that much, especially on large scale like this. But I felt like, I don't know. I felt like this was going to be the right tool for the job. So far, I think we're right. And okay, I think that's good for the highlights for now. I'll be honest, I really don't know what I'm going to do for this texture. I think I will end up using that, but we will end up having to tape off. So let's start with that. Oh boy, that's a lot of tape. I think I'm just going to mix the color just a little bit darker, just literally a hair darker than that one. Yeah, let's go with that. Alright, and hopefully this doesn't mess anything up. It's actually not too bad at all. Let me see if I can take it with a little bit of this, and we can add some darker ones here towards the bottom half, and lighter ones just along the top, maybe? Yeah, I actually don't think that's too bad at all. I mean, I'll have to go through and I'll blend everything again, but that's not bad. Let's take all the tape off, and then we'll get to blending. Alright, before we get to blending, I realize I actually got to add more of a shadow right here. So let's get that out of the way first. Alright, all I'm really thinking for blending is some of the spots where there's like little artifacts like this. I think we're going to try to blend those in a little bit. Alright, looking good. I think that's enough for texture on them. I mean, it's not very feathery, fluffy, but it kind of indicates it a little bit, you know? And I don't want to add too much, because I'm lazy. Like Mr. Grover is here, just laying down and taking a nap. But now we got to add some of the face details to him, I suppose, huh? So we'll get these eyes out of the way first. Pretty curse, my man. I think we're gonna do some X's for his eyes since, you know, he's dead. That looks good. We'll do his mouth and then his pink little nose here for his mouth. Yeah, we'll go to 2 different shades of red here. Well, 2 different shades for his bottom lip, because, you know, that's what Grover has. We'll just put the first shade around, and then we'll just add the black for the inside of his mouth. He's kind of making a oh with his mouth. Like, because he died in pain and agony. Painting is so violent. I don't know if I like it. Who am I kidding? I play violent games all the time. This is nothing. Give it a dry, and just about done with Grover. I say just about done because there's one thing I noticed that I maybe should have taken into account before I did the background, but I didn't, so we gotta try to fix it now. It's just a minor thing, but I think it'll make a big difference. So you notice here, there needs to be kind of a shadow underneath him. I figure, well, why not kind of add a shadow here too? You know, kind of on the bottom side of him. We need to make this black, and then make just the bottom of him a little bit black as well. Yeah, that looks much better. Kind of rather, I'd rather have him kind of blend into that that darkness underneath a little bit more than he did. So now with Grover done, let's get going on our killer. We'll get started with a couple of pale greens here. How about, just like we did with Grover, we'll get the whole coloring done. I feel like this green might be a little bit too bright. Nah, you know what? We'll deal with it. Ooh, all right, good base color. Uneven colors and all. Now, I already know this back arm I'm going to want in kind of the darker, and then I'll just add a little bit of highlights. Any highlights on this back one will be with the normal green. I don't know why, but this angle feels super odd to paint at. Like kind of to the upper left and bottom right. I don't know. I don't like moving my mouse in this way. And the reason I left this part uncovered is because I wanted to know exactly kind of where I made the bottom of that arm. So I could just paint over it with this. So this is going to make a shadow underneath it. Honestly, I should have done the same elsewhere, but I didn't. See if we can add more of the shadows at once this time. And we'll go through and blend them. Because I have a feeling that I'm going to need one more shade of darker green as well. Big thing I did here with the hands as well is because there's, you know, 2 hands with 3 fingers each kind of curling over each other. So I just made the fingers just on this hand first. And I did not color the other ones yet because I kind of want to get these shaded first, and then that'll define what the outline for the other fingers will be. You know what I mean? That way we can color them separately. Before I get too far into this part, let me get the eyes out of the way. And while we're at it, we might as well do the mouth too. Now we can get to blending some of this other stuff. You know, I avoid using this blender a lot, but it actually looks really good. Like, I like the texture that it's adding. I think Grover ended up turning out really good, and so far, Kermit's kind of turning out the same, man. I gotta say, I am impressed. All right, not too bad. But I do think that we're gonna need that darker green that I mentioned, so. Now, I don't think I'm gonna need much of it, but some will definitely help. Oh yeah, I think that's making a huge difference. Just a little bit of extra darker green kind of at the bottom. Yep. Good decision, Kaz. Good decision. Looking fresh. Now for some highlights similar to what we did for Grover. And we can get to blending. Oh, this is coming along so good. Exactly how I anticipated. Except for small little mistakes like that. Let me see if I can blend that back into the blue. Oh god, it's just making the blue more red. That looks better. We're gonna do kind of the same thing that we did before here. Feather some black along the very bottom of it here. Then silly me, almost forget the eyes. Kermit's got goofy eyes, yo. Hoping if I go like this, I'll make the circle right there. Is these things off the side? I don't know. Is this what frog eyes look like? I thought this was more goat eyes, but I think you should be looking down. I don't know. Yeah, I like that. So just a few minor things here before we move on to the knife. I'm just gonna kind of freestyle Grover's legs here into the abyss. I probably should put more thought into this part, but what are you gonna do? I mean, not put more thought into it, clearly. Good enough. And now for the knife, we're gonna have ourselves a nice brown handle. And now we need some silvery silver for the knife. Are you gonna be, you're gonna be a punk and not let me pick that color right there, huh? I love when you do that, machine. This one right here. Pick it. Nope, don't grab the machine. Ah, whatever. I'm gonna go with that one. That is quite the kitchen knife, my guy. It's a little crooked here at the bottom. Anybody notice? Of course you're gonna notice. I just pointed it out to you. Much better. Still not quite a kitchen knife. Still looks a little bit more menacing. But that's okay. Add a little indication of the edge starts here. Blend that in nicely. Just a little blending. And after we add some ketchup, we can call this done. So we already got a couple reds. I'm just going to go ahead and deal with those. And I think the wound is going to be right here. There we go. We'll have this dripping down him a little bit here. Grover, are you okay? Were you eating a burger and it spilled out onto your shirt? Do you even have a shirt? And we want to make it seem like the motion of the knife is coming out this way. So, extra droplets going like that then. We might have overdone it a little bit, but that's okay. Maybe I should have looked up ketchup splatter patterns before I did this, huh? Now I'm actually going to add some highlights to all this. And yeah, we'll blend these in. Or do our best to. Really kind of regretting doing so many of these, but now we're going to get to blending. You know, in my head I toyed with the idea of just having fluff come out of them, but I felt that wouldn't look quite right. I don't know, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Should it have been fluff? Or sriracha sauce? Okay. I would just add a little bit of splatter here on old Kermit's face. We'll cap it off with a tiny signature in the bottom. And straight from the twisted mind of Derek through my paintbrush, I give you Kermit stabbing Grover. What a masterpiece, man. Thank you so much for the suggestion, Derek. I had a blast doing this one here. I think the composition is super good. Maybe we could have done a little bit more with the background other than just the light, but overall, I think it actually works out pretty well. And I gotta tell you, they are having a hard time controlling that ketchup. If you enjoyed this video, I do ask, leave it a thumbs up. It helps me out greatly. And consider subscribing to the channel, especially if it's your first time here, because we put out multiple videos each and every week of multiple games, including SuchArt, but not limited to. I'm going to call it right here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Cass is out. Peace.